Hi, I'm Meghan Bass-Petti, an instructor at Yoga by Julia, and this will be a 60-minute class that is mostly yoga flow, but also just helping us kind of re-regulate what's going on in the nervous system, calming things down, and just getting it back into the bodies and out of our heads, which we're all kind of in our heads right now. So if you'd like, come into any comfortable seated position. You can sit on your heels as I am, or an easy seat, or in any other seated position, sitting on a blanket or a cushion if you have one, and just taking your two peace fingers, releasing the rest of the fingers into your hands and placing them down into the earth. So this is called Bhu Mudra, and it's very grounding and peaceful way to start your practice. So touching your fingertips to the mat or the floor next to you, closing your eyes or just softening your gaze. And just starting to notice the natural flow of your breath. Feeling your fingertips connected to the earth. Feeling the energy of the earth moving up through your fingertips, through your arms, and into your body. And sending that energy back down. And you can keep this mudra, feeling this connection to the earth, or just bring your hands to rest in your lap in any way that's comfortable. And just starting to slowly and evenly extend the breath. So not worrying about taking deep breaths, not worrying about bringing the breath up into the chest, just nice, slow, even, deep breaths. On each inhale, reminding your shoulders to just remain nice and relaxed, your neck relaxed, your jaw relaxed. On each exhale, feeling the weight of your sit bones sink into the floor or into your heels. Knowing that as you calm and slow the breath, this helps to downregulate your nervous system, creating that feeling of peace and calm. Taking about 3 more deep breaths, just long, slow, and smooth. After your last exhale, breathing in through the nose and just sighing with an open mouth, making a ha sound as if you were going to fog up a mirror. One more breath like that, breathing in through the nose, sighing out through the mouth. And if you'd like, just keeping your hands where they are or bringing hands over your heart, coming into an intention in your practice and for your practice. So even though you're outside of the studio, you're likely in your home, you still want to have an intention for your practice. And that could be something that you need a little bit more of right now, could be something that you want to let go. Maybe just inviting in a nice, calm, safe, protected feeling. And when you're ready, just releasing your hands down and blinking your eyes open. And it's coming either to your knees if you're not there already. And if being on the knees is not a comfortable position, you can always take a blanket or a towel, placing it underneath the knees. And we'll just move through a little flowing warm up here. So starting seated on your heels or on a block or a blanket if that's more comfortable. And we'll just inhale, reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring the hands down by your heels, tuck yourself into a little mini child's pose. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, tucking yourself back in. And just taking 2 more like that, moving with your breath. Starting to warm up in your body. This time adding a little cactus of the arms, maybe even a sigh. And then tucking all the way back down. And one more, lifting up, open the arms. Exhale, sink back down. And then coming up to a hands and knees position with your wrists right underneath your shoulders, knees right underneath your hips. Just lightly gripping the mat with your fingertips and taking a few cat-cows. So inhale as you look forward, drop the belly. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, round up through the spine. So feel free to make this motion your own. You can add a little bit of bending to the elbows as you swoop forward. And exhale, press into the hands. We're just trying to start to warm up in the spine. And just taking one more. And coming back to that neutral position, circling the torso around, so letting your spine again loosen up in all directions. Letting your hips get involved as much as feels comfortable. So using this practice at home to maybe take your body into some shapes you wouldn't normally do in a class or you wouldn't feel comfortable doing, and then changing the direction of your circle. And then coming back to your hands and knees position, reaching back with your right toes, press into the ball of your foot, just stretching into your heel, feeling that length all the way up the bottom of your foot, through your Achilles tendon, your calf muscles. And then releasing that, lifting the leg up about hips distance from the floor, pointing your toes away, creating that length all the way from the tip of your toes, all the way through your hips, through the front of your psoas. Taking an inhale and exhale, curl knee to chest. And inhale, reach back. Exhale, curl in. And inhale, reach long. Feel the length of your leg. Exhale, curl in. And one more like that on the side. And then bringing your legs straight back again, pointing your toes down towards the floor and reaching the leg out to the side and then back to the center. So trying to keep your torso steady, engaging your core muscles to keep you nice and stable in the center. So reaching out to the side about 4 times. And then bringing that knee down, and we'll come out to the side with the knee and back down. So moving still with your breath. And then bringing the knees wide on the mat, sinking back towards your heels, taking a child's pose, Again, you don't have to come all the way back to your heels unless that feels available in your body to do so. Coming back up to your hands and knees position. You can stay where you are. I'll just turn around so you can see better on this side. So lining up your wrists right under your shoulders again, knees right under your hips. Taking your left foot and stepping it back, pressing into your heel. Feeling that stretch again through the foot, through the Achilles tendon, through the calf muscle. And then bringing shoulders back over wrists, lifting the leg up, pointing your toe away, and taking a big inhale, exhale, curl in tightly, press into your hands. Inhale, reach long, and exhale, curl in. And inhale, reach, and exhale, curl. And one more reach, and curl in. And bringing the leg straight back behind you, point your toes down towards the floor, pushing into your heel, and reach the leg out to the side. Again, using your core muscles, keeping you right in the center. Just moving from the hip. 2 more times, reaching out to the side and bringing the leg back. And then bringing the knee back down, and we'll open out to the side. So inhale as you bring the knee out, and exhale back in. Trying to keep yourself stable right in the center, making sure you're not dropping in your shoulders, pressing into your hands. And then bringing the knees wide again, starting to sink back towards your child's pose. You can always stack the arms or stack the hands on top of each other for a little bit more lift under the head. And then coming back up to your hands and knees position, staying right where you are. And from here, starting to walk your hands forward into more of a V shape, dropping your chest towards the floor, or maybe your forehead or your chin, extending through your arms, finding a puppy pose. So you can, if you have a block or blanket or pillow, you can always place that under your forehead. Just getting a little bit of extension through the arms. And then lifting the head, walking the hands back in. We'll start to work with the spine a little bit more, creating some spinal mobility. So first, just sinking back towards the heels, bending the elbows down towards the floor as you scoop the heart forward, finding your cow pose. And then exhale, round up into your cat and sink back towards your heels and you mount. Inhale, scoop the heart forward. Exhale, tuck and round, sink back towards your heels. So just taking 2 more like that, inhaling forward. Exhale, round back. And the last one is you sink and come forward. And exhale, round back. And then coming back to tabletop, tucking your toes underneath. And really lifting through the belly, pulling your belly towards your spine. Maybe trying to lift one or both knees, hovering the knees and pressing into the hands, broadening across the shoulder blades, really using your core to strengthen here. And if you need to put one knee down at a time, that is perfectly fine. And setting the knees down, maybe walking them back 1 time, keeping the toes tucked under and lifting the hips up and back to downward facing dog. So taking some petals out of the feet, making sure your hands are wide enough apart that you aren't feeling any pinching in the back of the shoulder blades. Maybe pointing the index fingers forward if you do feel extra tight in the shoulders. So again, working on that spinal mobility, rolling forward to plank pose. And here taking the option to drop the knees, find that sink back towards the heels, and just move forward from plank on your knees to a child's pose, or lifting all the way back to downward facing dog, rolling forward to plank, holding here, and then lifting the hips up and back. So any of those options, coming forward, setting the knees down if you need. And we'll just move through that one more time. And then dropping the knees down, sitting back on your heels or on a pillow or blanket or an easy seat. We'll just start to release some of that tension we just created in the shoulders. So bringing the hands up to face the front of the room, start to bring the hands down and then back up. So release down, exhale, inhale up. And exhale down and inhale up. And one more down and up. And then turning the palms towards your face, closing, like you're closing some doors. And then opening the shoulders, so really spreading across the front part of the chest and tucking the hands in towards the face and opening up. And if you'd like to make this a bigger motion, you can tuck and curl in and open the heart, maybe even look up. And one more like that. And then coming back to the center, taking your left shoulder, just starting to roll it around towards the back. So you can make this a very small movement or a lot bigger. And changing the direction. So as we've all been probably home a lot more than usual, we may be feeling a little tight. So just taking time with the body and then moving to the other side, rolling the shoulder back a few times. And then coming to the front. And then from here, just bringing the fingertips to the shoulders, just taking some gentle twists to each side. So again, letting the spine regain some of its mobility. Just turning slowly just to that place that you're starting to feel that stretch, but not overly stretched or overly tense as you turn and twist. And the last one to each side. And then coming back to the center, just bringing the hands out in front of you, turn the fingertips down, and then lift them up towards the ceiling. So letting your wrists get a nice stretch each direction. And then coming back to the center, interlacing the fingers, taking some figure eights with the hands. So as much as we do on our wrists in our regular yoga practice, especially if you're doing a lot of vinyasa, you really want to take care of your wrists. And then going back the other way, taking some figure eights the other way. One way may be super awkward, I know it is for me. And coming back to the center, just open and close the fingers, really get some blood flow moving in the hands. And then letting that go. Coming back to your hands and knees position, and if you need a little help coming up to stand, kind of an easier way to get up there usually is to tuck your toes underneath. Start to walk your hands back towards your knees, press into the mat, slowly come up into a forward fold, and just let yourself dangle here. So let your head be heavy, Let your arms sway side to side. You can always hold opposite elbows if you like. But again, just remember to bring your chest closer to your thighs. You're not really worried about touching the floor. Keeping the weight more towards the back of your heels. And then as you let the arms dangle, slowly press into the feet. Rise all the way up. Reaching the arms overhead and bringing hands back to the heart. So take a moment here, pressing your thumbs into your heart, maybe closing your eyes or softening your gaze. Coming back into your body, into your practice, feeling your feet on the earth, your heartbeat under your thumbs. Maybe a little quiet place inside that's always there. And then releasing the hands down. We're going to take some plank, walkouts to plank. So as we did before, you can always come down to your knees at any point. So inhale as you reach the arms up, and you don't have to touch your hands together. You can keep them nice and wide if that's better for the shoulders. Sinking down as you bend the knees, exhale out. Inhale, halfway lift, bring the heart forward, long spine, and exhale, fold. And start to walk out either on your hands or on your fingertips, coming all the way to plank, maybe lowering the knees, and if you're on your toes, shifting forward, keeping the elbows pointed towards the back of the room as you lower all the way to your belly. Releasing the feet. Inhale, lift the heart, shoulders relaxed. Exhale, release. Inhale, lifting the heart, baby cobra. And exhale, release. One more, lift up and release. And then pressing either up on the knees or tucking the toes, engaging the core, pressing back up into your plank. And softness in your knees as you walk your hands back towards your feet, or you can use blocks under your hands if you have them at home. Find that forward fold again, let yourself dangle. Slowly roll all the way up. Inhaling the arms to any place that's comfortable, and exhaling, hands back to the heart. And again, inhale, reach up. And exhale, soften the knees and fold, chest towards your thighs. Inhale, slide the hands up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Start to walk back towards the top of your mat on your fingers or on your hands. Holding your plank for a few breaths this time. So long line from the crown of your head all the way down to your tailbone, maybe even a slight tuck under the tailbone, pressing into your hands, broadening your shoulder blades. And then knees up or down, shifting forward, lowering all the way to your belly. And this time, bringing your hands out to the sides, coming up onto your fingertips. Inhale, lifting up, push into the floor. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, lift up. Use the strength of your fingers and your arms. Exhale, roll down. And one more, roll up. And exhale, roll down. And bringing your hands back under your shoulders, you can press up again on your knees or engage the core, tuck your toes. Press back up to plank and walk back towards your feet. Inhale, lift up. Slowly all the way to stand, and exhale, hands to the heart. So we'll do that one more time with one more variation. Inhale as you reach up. Exhale, softly fold down. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, fold. And then walk your hands forward once more, finding your plank.
And this time we'll come down onto the forearms and then back up to the hands. So again, anytime you can set your knees down here, or lower to one forearm and then the other, and then press back up. I'll lower the opposite forearm down and press back up. And then if you're on your toes, shift forward, or if you're on your knees, slowly lower to your belly. Release your feet, bringing your hands down behind your back, maybe interlacing the fingers. Reach long, find a little lift of the heart. Doesn't have to be a very big one, you don't have to bring your arms up. Just find that little bit of strengthening in the back, in the spine, and release. Hands come back under the shoulders, pressing up onto your knees, or all the way back up to plank. Walking back towards your feet. And slowly roll all the way up. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. So again, closing your eyes here, checking in, feeling your heartbeat, being absolutely present in your practice, in your body. And releasing the hands down. We're going to take some plank walkouts to plank. So as we did before, you can always come down to your knees at any point. So inhale as you reach the arms up, and you don't have to touch your hands together. You can keep them nice and wide if that's better for the shoulders. Sinking down as you bend the knees, exhale out. Inhale, halfway lift, bring the heart forward, long spine, and exhale, fold. And start to walk out either on your hands or on your fingertips, coming all the way to plank, maybe lowering the knees, and if you're on your toes, shifting forward, keeping the elbows pointed towards the back of the room as you lower all the way to your belly, releasing the feet. Inhale, lift the heart, shoulders relaxed. Exhale, release. Inhale, lifting the heart, baby cobra. And exhale, release. One more, lift up and release. And then pressing either up on the knees or tucking the toes, engaging the core, pressing back up into your plank, and softness in your knees as you walk your hands back towards your feet, or you can use blocks under your hands if you have them at home. Find that forward fold again, let yourself dangle. Slowly roll all the way up. Inhaling the arms to any place that's comfortable, and exhaling, hands back to the heart. And again, inhale, reach up, and exhale, soften the knees and fold, chest towards your thighs. Inhale, slide the hands up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Start to walk back towards the top of your mat on your fingers or on your hands, holding your plank for a few breaths this time. So long line from the crown of your head all the way down to your tailbone, maybe even a slight tuck under the tailbone, pressing into your hands, broadening your shoulder blades. And then knees up or down, shifting forward, lowering all the way to your belly. And this time, bringing your hands out to the sides, coming up onto your fingertips. Inhale, lifting up, push into the floor. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, lift up. Use the strength of your fingers and your arms. Exhale, roll down. And one more, roll up. And exhale, roll down. And bringing your hands back under your shoulders. You can press up again on your knees or engage the core, tuck your toes. Press back up to plank and walk back towards your feet. Inhale. Inhale, lift up, slowly all the way to stand. And exhale, hands to the heart. So we'll do that one more time with one more variation. Inhale as you reach up. Exhale, softly fall down. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, fold. And then walk your hands forward once more, finding your plank. And this time we'll come down onto the forearms and then back up to the hands. So again, anytime you can set your knees down here, or lower to one forearm and then the other, and then press back up. I'll lower the opposite forearm down and press back up. And then if you're on your toes, shift forward, or if you're on your knees, slowly lower to your belly. Release your feet, bringing your hands down behind your back, maybe interlacing the fingers. Reach long, find a little lift of the heart. Doesn't have to be a very big one, you don't have to bring your arms up. Just find that little bit of strengthening in the back, in the spine, and release. Hands come back under the shoulders, pressing up onto your knees, or all the way back up to plank. Walking back towards your feet. And slowly roll all the way up. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. So again, closing your eyes here, checking in, feeling your heartbeat, being absolutely present in your practice, in your body. So from here, we'll reach the arms up again and exhale, softly fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, and exhale, bring your fingertips down to the floor or to blocks if you have them, lifting the heels, starting to squat down. So if this is not going to work for your knees, you can always just squat a little bit higher. If you can, come all the way down, folding yourself into a little package, bringing your forehead towards your knees. And bringing the heels down towards the floor, slowly rolling all the way up. Reaching the hands up and back to the heart. So we'll take a big step forward with the right foot. So find your grounding in your feet. You may want to move the right foot over a little bit so you feel more stable. And then find your high lunge, your crescent lunge from this position. And then sweeping the arms up or keeping hands at the heart. Maybe slightly bringing your pinky fingers inward. And then taking your right arm, sweeping it down and open, coming into a twisted lunge. Breathing here. And then drop your right hand towards the back of your left leg. Reach up and back. And then bring both arms back to your twist, pressing into your back heel, and sweep the right arm forward. And bring the hands down to the floor or to your blocks if you have them. Plant your back heel down, back foot at about a 45-degree angle. Maybe even taking your thumb and tucking your right hip under you, folding over this right leg. And putting a little soft bend in the front knee, coming onto your fingertips, turning your back foot so that your toes are forward, and maybe lifting the leg up, finding a supported version of Warrior 3, or bringing your hands up to your heart, Holding here, hips nice and level. The outer left hip turns down as your toes reach towards the floor. And then bringing your knee up towards your chest, setting your foot down if you need as you come through. And then maybe reaching the arms up, testing your balance, or extending the toes forward. Just breathing here, shoulders relaxed, and then stepping all the way back to your crescent lunge. Bringing your hands down towards the floor so that you can have hands planted or on your fingertips. Step back to downward dog. And then again, walk hands back to feet. Really use your core muscles. Slowly roll all the way up. Inhale, the arms reach. Exhale, hands to the heart. This time taking a big step forward with the left foot. So again, find your grounding first on the ball of your back foot. Maybe scooch the front foot over. See if you can shine your hip points forward as if there were headlights towards the front of your mat. Maybe lifting the arms all the way up or bringing the pinky slightly inward. And then taking your left hand, opening into a twist. And dropping your back hand, left hand behind you, sweeping up with the front arm. And coming back to your twist. And then circling the arm down and bringing the hands down towards the floor, planting the back heel down and starting to straighten the left leg. So again, maybe tucking your left thumb, bringing the hip back under you and straightening over that leg. You can keep a nice bend in this front knee if that feels better. And then as you walk your fingertips forward, turning your back toes to the front, maybe starting to lift up into a modified warrior three with hands on the floor, toes pointed down, or lifting up hands to heart, really pressing through your heel, right hip comes down, trying to maintain levelness in your hips, long through the crown of your head. Bring your hands back down, stepping back to your low lunge, planting your hands, stepping all the way back to downward facing dog. And again, start to walk your hands back towards your feet, bending the knees. And just bringing the toes out a little bit more towards the edges of your mat and coming down into Malasana. So if you want to stay in a little higher squat, you can be up here, you can have hands on your thighs, or sinking all the way down towards your heels, just making sure we're not hanging out here in the hip joints. Lifting up, using the pelvic floor to lift, engaging all of the muscles that keep you stable in this position. So if your heels are not on the floor, you can always roll up a blanket or your mat and place that underneath your heels, lifting the heart, finding your breath. And releasing the fingertips to the floor, straighten the legs, turn the toes forward, slowly roll all the way up. Reaching hands up tall towards the ceiling, and exhale, hands back to the heart. And then coming back to the center of your mat. So we often, in my class, do something called breath of joy. So that seems like something that's fairly needed right now. So it doesn't really matter if you get the pattern exactly correct. Really, the point is just releasing tension, releasing anything that you don't need right now. So the basics of it are arms out to the side. Inhale in, exhale out, inhale in, and exhale out through your mouth. So you just keep moving your arms and sighing out as you come down. So seeing if you can move in a way that feels good, in a way that feels like you're releasing things you don't need. So no particular form you have to take here, just let everything go. This is also really good to bring your energy up. If you're feeling really down, you're feeling really depleted, you're feeling brought down by the news right now, this can really help to upregulate your nervous system. So just taking 2 more. And then coming back to the center. And this may seem a little silly and, un-yoga-like, but it is very much still yoga. So just taking like some little hops, some little shakes of the hands. Again, taking any motions like this where you're releasing. This is what animals will do in nature. If it really feels good to your body, you can just move like this. You can shake it out. Just let things go. So much of our, pretty much all chronic disease, they're finding is related to stress and chronic stress over time. So the more you can release tension, just shake everything out, the better that is for your body, the better that is for your health, even if it looks silly. Hopefully you're at home. No one knows right now, right? Okay, so coming back to the center of your mat and just taking a wide stance. So turning your toes out towards the corners of the mat. Just sliding your hands down your thighs. So we'll just take a few sinks into a goddess squat. Letting your hips kind of warm up and know where we're going. And then maybe adding the arms. So you can circle your arms in any way that feels good to you. I know doing videos at home myself, it is often hard to figure out what the person is doing, what motion they're making, so don't worry about that. Just move in a way that feels opening to you. That may even be cactus arms and straightening the arms or circling. And on the next time you come down, maybe holding here with your hands and your thighs, doing a little rock side to side, releasing the inner thigh, the groin muscles. And coming back into the center, lifting the heart, maybe hands to heart and staying here, or playing around with lifting one heel, and then the opposite heel, maybe both heels, maybe getting a little shake in the legs like I am. And then letting that release, straighten the legs, turn the toes forward, and take a forward fold. So you can extend your arms, you can bring hands to hips, fold down with a long spine. Let your hands release to the floor or a block. Let your head be heavy. Maybe a little sway side to side. If you'd like to take this deeper, you can hold peace fingers around your big toes and gently pull yourself deeper, or even hold the outsides of your feet. And then releasing whatever you have. A hold of bringing your hands back to the floor, maybe back to your hips, straight out to the sides, or for more core intensity, you can bring your hands to rest behind your head and slowly Come up to stand and release the arms down. So as you step in, making sure you don't feel a head rush or anything else happening. And again, check back in. Plant your feet, press your thumbs into your heart, close your eyes or soften your gaze. Checking in with your body, in with your mind, instead of checking out and going somewhere else. How are you feeling right now? How is the breath flowing? And then letting that release. And coming back to the back of your mat. So we've done a lot from front to the back of the mat. So we'll do one more thing here for strengthening the legs and also for balance. So coming up onto the balls of your feet, you can bring hands to your heart or arms lifted overhead or arms out to the side, wherever you feel most comfortable. Just gonna walk little tippy toe steps forward, trying to stay on the balls of the feet. So really strengthening not only the feet and the calves, but really working on our ankles. So many of you have probably heard me say in class before that our ankles are extremely important to our balance. So walking backwards now, we have a very large percentage of our proprioception, which is our ability to know where we are in space at any given time, is held in our ankles. So if we want to prevent falls, we need to keep the ankles strong. So walking back towards the top of the mat. We don't want to be on a tightrope, so just as you would normally walk. And then walking back one more time. If you keep your gaze steady on one place, it's a lot easier to keep your balance. And then release the heels, release the arms down. And we'll come slowly down to the floor. So inhaling as you reach up, and exhale, soften and fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, and exhale, fold. This time just setting the hands down, setting the knees down, and bringing the feet all the way around to the front. So bringing your feet out in front of you, hands are behind you, fingers facing forward, just taking a few reverse tabletop lifts. So pressing into the hands, lifting the hips, and hips can be down low, they don't have to be super high. Or if you feel like dropping your head back, and that feels okay in the mat, go ahead and do so. And you can slowly lower down a few times, just lifting up a few inches and lowering down, or adding more in for your triceps, pressing all the way up into reverse table or altar pose and coming down. Just one more lift and lower. And then just working on the triceps, so pointing the elbows towards the back of the room, lifting the heart up, lengthening through the spine, and then pressing into the feet and just moving the elbows. So bend and straighten. So strengthening the back part of the arms, the back part of the triceps that we need strong for all of our chaturangas, all of our arm balances. Just taking a few more. You can always go at your own pace or stop at any time. And one more, and then release the seat down, release your wrists, roll them out a few times, and then circling back the other way. And again, open and close the hands, getting that blood flow back into your fingers. And then coming maybe slightly forward on your mat, finding yourself nice and tall on your seat bones, lifting again through the crown of your head, and then starting to lift one leg and then the other. So you can always extend your arms and start here. You can hold onto the legs, or you can lift both legs up and drop one toe at a time to tap down. Really trying to keep your core nice and stabilized, your shoulders relaxed, your spine nice and long. Making sure you're not holding your breath. Just 2 more. And then setting your feet down, wrapping your arms around, giving yourself a hug. Just let your head come towards your knees. And then coming back up, lowering down onto your elbows and your forearms, lifting the knees up, turning them to the right, and bringing the knees all the way to the right, back to the center, to the left, and to the center. So notice if your shoulders start to collapse inward, if your spine starts to hunch and round in, try and keep everything nice and lifted. And if you feel like you could do more here, you can extend the legs away and bring them in, and extend them away and bring them in. So not only are we strengthening in the core and in the obliques, we're also getting a nice stretch down the legs as they extend, if you're extending them. And just taking one more to each side. And then again, coming back to the center, wrapping your arms around your legs, letting your head relax, letting your back relax as well. And bringing your head up when you're ready, starting to straighten your legs. So you may need to move the flesh away from your seat bones so that you can sit up nice and tall in Dandasana and staff pose. So reaching tall through the crown of your head, flexing your feet, toes come towards you, and just holding here. So just sitting here, you're still strengthening your core muscles, you're strengthening your back, but you're letting your jaw, letting your shoulders, your neck, everything relax. And then bringing the knees back in. You can stay where you are. I'll just turn to face you. So one good thing to do if you're under a lot of stress right now is some lymphatic massage. So just taking your fingertips nice and light, start at your feet. Just start to stroke the skin on the top of your feet, and then move around your ankles. So it's just like a light pulling motion. So you're not really like dragging your hands up, you're just lightly stimulating the lymph to move on the inner parts of your calves, on your shin bones, the outer parts all the way around to the back and over your knees. So bringing everything towards your groin. I had a teacher call that the dumping grounds, which seems a little odd, but I guess that's where the lymph drainage needs to go into the groin to drain out. So lightly bringing that in. And then you can keep your legs extended or fold them in, and we'll just start on the arms. So again, lightly bringing it up, this time the dumping ground, as it may be called, to your armpit area. So noticing that these dumping ground areas are places that we sweat a lot. So you're bringing all of that up into those places where you can sweat it out, and switching to the other arm. Also noticing how nice that feels just to touch your own skin. We don't do that nearly often enough, giving ourselves this time, this self-care. And then coming from the back around to the front. And bringing that up towards the armpit area as you reach towards your back. Or coming around your hips and coming towards the inner groin area. And then just coming up to the back of your neck with your finger pads. This time just taking some nice soft circles on the back of the neck. You can close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Just circling around, feeling if there's any places in your neck that feel really tight or sore. Maybe spending a little extra time there. Coming all the way down into the base of your neck where it meets your shoulders. And coming onto your earlobes, giving your earlobes a massage, being careful, of course, if you have earrings in. And coming all the way up around your ears. If you've never massaged your ears before, you may notice that feels a different sensation than everything else because of the cartilage there. But really good to stimulate these points. And then just bringing your fingertips to your jaw, so following your jaw from your chin all the way over to the sides, just circling around, releasing the muscles in your jaw, coming up to your cheekbones, up towards your temples, all the way to the forehead, to the center of your forehead, back towards your temples, back along your jaw, noticing if anything feels really stuck or tight in your jaw. And just releasing the hands down and coming all the way down onto your back. So for our inversion today, if you'd like to take a supported legs up the wall, you can actually come in front of a wall at your house, placing your feet just resting on the wall like so, or letting your heels rest on the wall. You can also use a blanket or a block underneath your sacrum on the back part of your pelvis, or if you don't have one, you can tuck the thumbs underneath and lift the legs up. Just taking about a minute here with legs lifted in whatever position feels good to you. And if it doesn't feel good to have legs lifted, you can just bend the knees and stay right here. So resting in this position on your back, trying to let yourself fully relax. Turn your feet or your ankles around if that would feel good. You can take different leg shapes. Bring your knees back towards your chest, just pausing here for a moment. And then giving yourself a nice little hug of the shins or the backs of the thighs. Just gently bringing your knees towards your chest, little rock side to side if that feels okay to do so. And then coming back to the center, just crossing right ankle over left thigh, bringing your left thigh in towards your chest, reaching through your legs to hold on to the back of your thigh or to your pants, putting a little flex in your top foot and your right foot, and gently bringing the leg in towards the chest, letting the shoulders relax. Again, you can add a little rock side to side. And over to the other side, left ankle over right thigh, putting a little flex in your left foot, gently bringing it in towards your chest, holding on wherever you can grab. And one more last little hug in towards the chest. And taking a happy baby or any other position that feels good to you right now, letting your tailbone come down towards the floor. And bringing your heels together, reaching out long through your fingertips, through your toes, preparing for your final Shavasana. So relaxing your arms down by your sides, bringing your feet towards the edges of the mat. And closing your eyes, letting your whole body be heavy on the back of the floor. Making sure that even though you are at home during this class, that you don't skip your final Shavasana. It's still the most important part of your practice. Letting the mind be quiet. Letting the forehead, the jaw, the cheeks, back of the neck, back of the body, everything melts into the floor. With this reading from The Secret Power of Yoga by Nishala Joy Devi. On a philosophical level, we understand that we came into this world free of material possessions, and when we leave with nothing. Even our bodies that were provided for us must stay, affirming that what we use on this earth belongs to the earth. Casually we speak about owning land or a house, yet can we move that acre of land from Montana to Florida in the winter months for warmth? It seems more like the earth is housing us, owning us. Knowing all of this, we still think of things as mine. We attach strong possessive pronouns before objects, as if that protects us from them ever leaving us. My house, her car, his pen. We then become offended if someone takes something that is mine. We legislate to protect us from thieves, but the laws are not able to protect us from the fear of loss. When we don the attitude of caretakers instead of owners, we enjoy things when they come and let them go with ease. It is nature's rhythm. All things come and all things go. So if you'd like to stay in your final Shavasana longer, feel free to do so. Otherwise, rolling to one side and pressing yourself up into a seated position when you're ready. Closing our practice with palms pressing at heart center, thanking yourself for this time that you took care of you today and everything that is going on in the world right now. Taking care of yourself is extremely important so you can take care of everyone else. Bringing your thumb knuckles to your brow, having peace in your thoughts, peace in your mind. Thumbs to the heart, having peace and love in your heart, and sharing that with all those around you. Hope you have a great rest of your day today. It's been my honor to lead this practice. Namaste.